All right, so welcome to Empowered Elites team call for November 11th. Before we get started, does anybody have anything they want to announce this week? Any rank advances or anything exciting going on? I have to give Stephanie a shout out. I got the email today that she achieved Success Starter, meaning Success Club. Hold on, I have to mute somebody. She hit Success Club her first 3 months as a coach, so she earned her free ticket to Summit. So that's super exciting. I don't think she's on, but congratulations, Stephanie. So I'm just going to jump right into this because I have a lot that I want to kind of quickly go over. And I'm hoping that these will be helpful for you guys because I know that these are the slower months and it can seem kind of defeating because I myself right now am sitting at Success Club 0 still, which is so not like me, as Success Club 10 is usually my goal within the first 2 weeks of the month. But it's just a lesson that we have to keep showing up consistently and doing the work and believe in ourselves and have faith that it will happen because there is always people out there that need help. But since this is something I'm dealing with, I figure that it might be something that you guys are dealing with as well. And a few of you have voiced it to me. So I wanted to go over how to overcome some objections that you might be getting, especially this time of year more so than ever before. So the first thing I want to say is that to kind of prevent as many objections as you can, it's really important to build value. So building value in Shakeology and also in the workout programs. So kind of by asking questions, forming with people, and if you're new and you haven't seen them yet, there is a file in the team page. Declan, I'm sorry. Laura, do you want to talk for a second? Because I need to get him something to eat so he can be quiet.
Hi, guys. I don't really know what, Dana, you want me to talk about, but if you're getting one, there's a few things that Dana has posted recently. One of the things was the, it's kind of a long video, but on how to present Shakeology, because I think that's a huge objection for a lot of people with price. So what she was talking about with creating value, obviously, is like before you tell people the price, like tell them all the reasons why Shakeology is so good for you and what it does for you. Like, for example, Elizabeth posted the other day how she used to nap every single day and was like distraught if she didn't get her nap in. And since being on Shakeology, she doesn't nap very often at all anymore. And I'm the only one here that like knows my sister well, but this is a true story. And it's like very profound that she doesn't nap every day anymore because she is needed. So you need to figure out kind of like what's important to them, whether it's weight loss or energy or, and that all comes with forming also with asking questions. And sorry, Tucker's wanting to touch buttons here too. But I think, and remembering that when you make those posts about how and what Shakeology does for you, and I don't post very much about Shakeology, so I do that a lot in my forming and my writing back and forth with people, just telling them what it does for me. And for me, I find it more to be, beneficial for the cravings and stuff like that. But it's different for everybody and it'll reach different people. I don't know. Do you have anything to add, anybody, about that? Kelly? I see you looking over here.
Sorry, my webinar was a flop, guys.
Oh, no. I liked what I was hearing so far, but I did think it was strange. I was like, it's weird that it's just a picture of Kelly and that's the whole webinar. I thought that was kind of weird. So,
well, actually, here's the thing. I recorded that presentation in advance and then so I'm recording it now so that you guys who invited people, you're not screwed. You can pass along my webinar and be like, sorry, my coach had a issue and she's dumb. I'm just kidding. No, it was good. It was fine. Like, it was good to learn. I didn't press a button that said present, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know that existed. So,
okay.
You live and learn.
It was good to know.
We're still proud of you, Kelly, for stepping out of your comfort zone and doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Forward. Okay, we're gonna get back to this. Hopefully Declan will hold out for me. So building value, and like I heard Laura saying, it's really important to ask questions to see where people are lacking and where Shakeology could really help them. So if they're struggling with cravings, or if they're struggling losing weight, if they're struggling with staying on track with healthy eating, if they struggle with low energy, like Laura was mentioning, that was a big thing for me as well. Really figuring out how you can kind of create that value without even going into the ingredients or anything like that. Because if you just jump forward to price when somebody says like, hey, what's Shakeology all about? People a lot of times will off the bat just tell you no, because they don't realize that it's worth paying that kind of money for. So it's super important to build that value first. And as the same thing goes along with workouts, because oftentimes people think at-home workouts can be a fluke, because I know that I did. So if you have people that are struggling and they just don't think that they can stay on track doing at-home workouts, or they really don't think they're going to get results to them, you need to, number one, be speaking to your experience with them and what they've done for you and what you found. You can even bring up the results of people on the team or some of your challengers. I often will send people that are skeptical about the workouts or a program a picture of one of my current challengers or past challengers and their 3-week or 6-week results, because pictures don't lie. And it's kind of hard for them to say, well, I don't think it's going to work, if something is staring them in the face, proving to them that it does. The other thing I forgot to mention about Shakeology is really just honing in on your story and your experience with it, because typically with pretty much everybody I talk to Shakeology about, I explain how I had very low energy. I had cravings, especially at nighttime. When I'd go to the grocery store, I'd buy junk food, all these things that I struggled with, and I struggled staying on track with healthy eating, and Shakeology was just such a game changer for me, because that is things that people can relate to. And it also helps them trust you, that you're not just trying to sell them some, gimmick shake. And then again, after you've kind of gone through that process and built that value, then you can go ahead and say, is it okay if I send you a video to learn more about Shakeology, or to learn more about a specific workout, so that it really kind of does the explaining for you. Now, beyond building value, because you are still going to get objections even if you have built that value, and that happened to me today. I've been talking to a girl for 3 days. She was really, really interested, and as soon as she found out the price, I still got an objection. And that's very common this time of year. People are saving for Christmas. People have things going on with their families. People are traveling. So a good idea is to kind of combat that on our Facebooks by sharing things that are kind of meeting people where they're at. So I know Bonnie Engel speaks to this a lot, that for all the objections that she gets, she writes them down and she comes up with posts that are about these objections. And I think that's a really awesome way to do it, because if one person or 2 people are giving you the same objection, there is definitely a lot more people out there that are thinking the exact same thing. So whatever that objection is, whether it's money or it's, they want to wait till after the holidays, that's a good thing to kind of, tie into something that you're sharing on Facebook, because people are going to stop and think, well, maybe that's not really a valid excuse, Also to kind of meet people where they're at right now. So a lot of people are afraid to start a health and fitness journey, especially around the holidays, because they think they're going to fail. They think that they're going to start and do well, and as soon as, Thanksgiving comes around, they're going to bomb it. And so they just think, well, I'm not even going to try, and I'm going to wait till the holidays are over. Or they just really think long-term and think, well, I'm just going to wait until after Christmas is done, because then I can do all the damage I want in the next 2 months and fix it afterwards. But the reality is, there is only 2 holidays. There's Thanksgiving and there's, Christmas Eve and Christmas. So that's 3 days out of 2 months. So really kind of writing off those 2 months is just silly. And if, we can kind of say to people that we can have balance through the holidays, that we can have, balanced by getting our workouts in and still, eating healthy 90% of the time, but have a little wiggle room to have some holiday treats or to go to party and, have a holiday drink or whatever it is, so that people feel more comfortable that they don't have to be perfect. And that they're not coming into this signing up for something that they're not going to be able to maintain through the holidays, because we are not trying to box people into something that is unrealistic. We are human. There is going to be some things that you want to eat over the holidays, and that's fine. And they need to see that we're real as well. Some good things to post on your Facebook, or even to create a free group for, would be things like healthy holiday recipes. I know a couple of you have one of these running, and I have one that's going to start next week, but you don't have to come up with recipes on your own. You can go on Pinterest and find healthy versions of holiday recipes and put together a quick little 3 or 5 day group, and share a couple recipes a day, just to get people seeing that they can enjoy the holidays without having to miss all the things that they love, because often it's a simple switch of making it a little bit differently for it to, stick into a plan that they're able to keep up with. Also, speaking to surviving the holidays, Shakeology is a great tool to help people get through the holidays, because number one, they're getting that dense nutrition. So it's helping them combat the cravings, which a lot of people, they struggle and go eat 15 cookies at a party because they have cravings and they have, no way to control that. Especially if that's a constant thing through the holidays, that, when you eat crappy food, it makes you crave it more. So Shakeology is kind of like damage control in my eyes through the holidays for people that struggle with that. And I actually heard a coach earlier today say that sometimes during the holidays she'll drink 2 Shakeologies a day, like if she knows she's going to be having a bigger meal later in the day, because she's getting that nutrition in, and it's also lower in calories as a second meal. So she's, feels like she's kind of balancing it out a little more. Also, you can get creative and look up statistics of things, like I saw one today that said 75% of weight gained in a year happens during the holidays for adults in America. You can Google statistics like that and easily put those into a post and say, hey, did you know? Because those are certain things that most people probably don't think anything of. But the reality is that this is the time of year where people care less and less about getting healthy, because they know New Year's is coming and it's kind of a clean, fresh slate. But, in our eyes, it's kind of like, why add all that extra work that you have to work so much harder to take off the beginning of next year? So if we can speak to really helping people find balance to be healthy through the holidays, with a little wiggle room to be human, it's a lot less intimidating for a lot of people. Now, objections to the coaching opportunity, or even objections for people that say that they can't afford a challenge pack. And I do this a lot, even not during the holidays. But if someone says to me that they can't afford a challenge pack, it's always great to recommend, that if they sign up as a discount coach, that they can refer people to help get theirs paid for. And oftentimes, that's enough for somebody to say, like, I know I could get my sister on board, and maybe my mom, and maybe a girlfriend of mine. And, then they're ready to sign up because they know that they're not having to fork out all that money on their own. And it gives them that extra accountability by having friends do it with them. So always make sure that if somebody gives you a price objection, that you're telling them that by referring people, it could help them get theirs paid for. The other thing is that, if somebody seems really, really interested in this, and they really just seem like they're struggling, like it's, really true with the price objection, you can, or even like the girl that said no to me because of the holidays coming up earlier, I suggested to her, that she could think about coaching part-time through the holidays, because a lot of people, can save some extra money through the holidays and, save some extra money for Christmas by coaching part-time. And it kind of helps them fulfill their needs of wanting to get fit and healthy. And it helps, them to help other people get fit and healthy. And it gives them the added benefit of having a little extra Christmas money. So, don't be afraid to put that out there, because the worst thing that people can say is no. And then you're back exactly where you started in the first place. And some people will say yes, and then you're better off, right? Let's see. The other thing that I wrote down about objections, and this, another coach mentioned to me that she's been doing this lately as well. And I personally haven't tried it yet, but I thought it was a really interesting idea. So she said when somebody gives her an objection, she says, what is your other option for the time being? Like, and not saying it in a snobby way, like, well, what are you going to do without me? But saying like, what is your backup plan to help you get through the holidays until you are ready to get started? And, you can see what somebody says, but you could also provide free value by giving them a few healthy recipes or inviting them to a free group that someone on the team is running. Anybody on this team, and I'm sure that I speak for everybody when I say this, if you see somebody running a free group and you need a place to put somebody, just ask. I have my Healthy Eating on a Budget group running right now, and starting the 16th, I will have a free Healthy for the Holidays group going. So if you guys want to invite to that, feel free to. You're more than welcome. But that is a great way to continue building relationships with people, even when they're not ready, because it's really important to let them know that you do care and that it's not all about a sale to you, and that you want to serve them with where they're at. And, if they're not ready to get started, that you're still willing to give them some tips and some help to get through the holidays. So the other thing that she said she asked is, if you weren't going to wait, what would you do next? And I think that that's a really interesting thing to say. If you weren't going to wait, what would you do next? So, if somebody is really ready to dive in and make a change, but they're really, they're stuck because of fear or the price objection or thinking that they can't do it through the holidays, it will kind of make them think, if they were ready to get started at this time, what would they be doing right now? They'd be getting excited. Maybe they'd be dumping their junk food. Maybe they'd be writing out their goals and their why. And you never know, it might click to somebody that they are ready, and it's just, coming from a place out of fear that it's not a real objection. Because I know for me, my objections for 4 months were not legitimate. They were me protecting myself out of fear of failure or fear of change. And that's pretty common as well. So let me see what else I have written down. Follow-ups. Follow-ups are huge. They are huge all the time. You should be doing follow-ups, but especially this time of year. And what I like to do, I actually did this in the past 2 days. I sit down and I go through all my Facebook messages, and I look at all the people that I have talked to and that I haven't checked in on, at least within the past 3 weeks. And I go ahead and I shoot them a message. And depending on what our conversation was prior to that, I might just go ahead and invite them to a challenge group, because the last, thing that they said was, no, ask me next time, or no, not right now. Or if it's somebody that I was just kind of forming with, I'll go ahead and just continue on the conversation, or I will revisit something that we've talked about in the past. So I actually had a girl that I had been talking to last month, and she told me she was struggling with high cholesterol, and was starting to make some changes, but wasn't really ready to dive into something more structured yet. So all I did was follow up with her and ask how her pursuit of eating healthier was going, how her cholesterol levels were, just a short, sweet message to check in. I didn't invite her to a challenge group, but I just continued building that relationship. And follow-ups are huge, guys, because especially when you're getting so many no's, make sure that you're writing those names down. That is why Liz did a Go for No challenge this month for Team Drop the Cookie. And if you missed it, I would suggest that you go into the team page and you print out her Go for No file. It's a list with 100, boxes on it for you to fill with names of people that have told you no. And that is a great thing to do every single month, because if you write all those names down, you always have people to follow up and to continue building relationships with. Another thing that you can do with follow-ups is offer an incentive. And a lot of different coaches I've heard have done different things. So I used to do things like E&E samples or Shakeology bags or a Shakeology cup. Lately, I've been doing Fixate cookbooks, and that seems to work really well because everybody loves cookbooks, and a lot of people are really scared about having recipes that they're going to like when they're starting a new plan. So, it really only costs you $15 or less. And if you could even make a post about it and say, hey, the next 3 people to join my November challenge, I'm going to give away a free Fixate cookbook. Because people like to get things for free. And sometimes that's enough to get somebody to say, well, all right, maybe I'm ready. I've seen coaches do like foam rollers that they get off Amazon or for Marshalls for like, $5-10. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else I've seen coaches do as free giveaways, but you can get creative. I mean, you can really do anything. We have a lot of really cool stuff in the Coach Online office in the shop, that are under $10, sweatbands, Shakeology cups, anything like that. Just gives people that little added incentive, to join, especially if they're already on the fence. So you can do that, or you can choose not to, but I've always found that that works really well to do free incentives, especially if you're struggling. So another thing that I saw from a Bonnie Engel call, she, a lot of times when she follows up, she kind of denotes like an objection before she even gets one. So one of the ones I was reading, it was a girl she had been talking to about the coach opportunity that said, I'm not really ready right now. And she had said to her, hey girl, I just started my new mentorship for this month, and I just wanted to let you know that I have 2 spots left in it. And, I'd really love for you to take the leap and join me. It would be a really awesome time because our busy season is coming up. And if you get in now and you learn the ropes, you'll be that much better off when New Year's comes. So kind of assuming that the girl would be ready and just putting herself out there and saying like, hey, I'm ready for you. I'm excited to help you. Because who knows, somebody could say that and say, what do I have to lose? And be ready. And the same thing with the challenge group. I did that with a girl today that I've been talking to for almost a year now. And she's been, said she wanted to commit a few times, and, she's just kind of pushed it off, or she disappears. And I followed up with her. I let her know that I was doing a free Fixate cookbook because I know that recipes is something she struggles with. And she didn't sign up today, but she is supposed to sign up Friday. And she said, you caught me at the right time. I really needed to hear this. So don't forget to do those follow-up, guys, because that's so important. There's so many people that you may forget about, or they kind of get lost in your messages. That maybe it wasn't right then, or maybe it wasn't the right timing, or maybe they really financially weren't ready then, but they are now. So make sure that you're keeping up with those follow-ups.
Hey, Dana, can I add something really quick?
Yes.
One thing I did this week that I think, we'll see how effective it turns out to be, but I thought it was kind of a neat way to, basically when we had our mastermind call earlier this week, we talked about our dream team, and I took a lot of time and thought about that, and thought about people that I know that I would really like to have coach for me and be on my team. And I made a post about that. I don't know if you saw it, but I made a post about how I was thinking about my dream team. So if I reach out to you, know that it's coming from a place of, just being inspired and wanting you to be as empowered as I am or whatever. And then I sent out a ton of, 8 business opportunity invites today. And a few of them were follow-ups and a few of them were new, but I was able to refer to that post too. So it kind of pulled it together. I don't know what will happen from it, but it's just an idea for other people.
I like that idea. It's kind of putting it out there that you're seeking go-getters and that, you know, you have them in mind.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
And I had one person already write back, and she's like, I feel so honored that you thought of me and that I was at the top of your list. And, you know, I'm trying to get pregnant right now. And I think, you know, in a few months, this might be something I'm wanting to do or whatever. It wasn't a no. It was definitely a maybe. But it was still, I don't know, I thought it was good.
That's true with challengers as well. That's why I tell all of you guys to make sure that if you see challengers that are having good results, or they're loving the products, or they're really active in your challenge groups, or they're very positive and encouraging in your challenge groups, those are great people to reach out to and just say, hey, have you ever considered coaching? Because oftentimes people have never thought about it and don't know what it entails. And, you know, they're really shocked that you would think they would make a good coach. But the reality is you never know who will be interested and who would make a good coach, and just never really thought about it before. So that is a good idea, Laura, and it's good for challengers as well. Does anybody have any specific objections that they've dealt with that I didn't really cover, or any specific situations they need help with right now? Or anybody want to add anything?
I have some that I feel like's worked for me too. I don't know if you guys were all on Patrick Reelman's call a while ago, but he said, like, he always said, listen, if people are hesitant or like really kind of objecting to the price, he said, like, if you give me, like, can you give me 2 weeks? And then he said, and you know, there's a complete money back guarantee on your Shakeology. If you're not happy, you know, and in your 2 weeks, I will make sure that you get back every single cent. And I've said that a couple of times, and it's changed people's tunes. So, and like one girl even wrote, you're a really good salesperson. That's not the point.
That is one thing I forgot to mention, is the money back guarantee. And that is a great thing to utilize, because I've used that a lot, and I think I've never had people return, and it was because one was allergic and the other one was just super weird about textures. But I mean, most people, once they start drinking Shakeology and they feel the difference, they know that you weren't just, you know, shoving it down their throat for the wrong reasons, that you generally know that it was going to help them. But a lot of people need that reassurance that they're not getting themselves into something that they're spending $140 or $160 and they don't know if they're going to love it. You know, and when you say you can try it for 30 days, you can get to the bottom of the bag. If you don't love it, you don't feel better, you can absolutely call and get a complete refund, no questions asked. So that is definitely a good thing to throw in there, especially if it's a price objection. Let's see. Does anybody else have any objections that they're dealing with? I know that everybody does. Everybody gets objections. Let's be honest here. No.
One of the things that I was going to mention is I've had a couple people say, oh, I'm so glad you thought of me. I'd like to get with you after the holidays. And that just makes me laugh, because what I want to say is, why don't you get with it before the holidays? But people are very scared to commit to something when they know Thanksgiving is coming and when Christmas is coming, as far as meals and stuff like that. So I'm just curious what you guys say.
I've gotten quite a few of those too, and I know Kelly has too, because we were talking about it the other day. But that absolutely is one of those things where it's like, follow up with me after the new year. And some people already have their mind set on that, you know, that there's probably not much that you can say to overcome that. But, you know, one of the things that you can talk about is taking control now. Like, why add an extra 2 months of weight gain and crappy food and killing your energy and not taking care of yourself? Because honestly, like, why don't you want to feel healthy through the holidays? Like, aren't the holidays so much more enjoyable when you feel good about yourself and you feel good in your clothes and you're not always, you know, feeling like you just ate way too much food and you just want to pass out on the couch? Although sometimes, yes, we know that's enjoyable. But for the majority, like really speaking, like I said, to the balance of it, that we are not trying to be perfect through the holidays, but we are trying to make sure that we do exercise and that we do eat well most of the time and that we do have room for wiggle room. So we're not telling you don't eat any Christmas cookies or don't drink any eggnog or, you know, don't have a mimosa, but we're saying the majority of it, you can still make healthy, empowered choices and feel like you're in control over the holidays instead of feeling like you're just spiraling all the way through the end of December and come New Year's, you're like, oh my God, I need to make a change. I don't even know where to start. You know, so if you can really, I don't know, kind of dig deeper with people who give you that objection as to why you're not ready to start until after New Year's, you might be able to figure out if it is the fear of not being able to maintain through the holidays. And then, you know, explain that it's not about perfection, that it's just about creating healthier habits than they come in with. And like I said, we're not boxing people into saying you have to work out 7 days a week. You can only eat clean food. You know, in my head, if you set people up for perfection, you're setting them up for failure because it's just unrealistic and we are human beings. So if you can, like I said, meet them where they're at, I think that we'll all be a lot better off. You could even make a post about that, Liz. I've been thinking about making a post about that as well. Like, why wait? Why wait until New Year's? Bonnie Engel, I think I mentioned this to you guys before, but she did a post about why is it, you know, cliche or taboo to buy people fitness programs or things like that for Christmas. And instead we buy, you know, wine and unhealthy treats and all this stuff and then say, oh, it comes New Year's, we're all focused on health and nutrition, but why is that something strange to do during the holidays? The only other thing that I wrote down was it was the 3 E's, and I haven't mentioned this in a long time, and it was just kind of brought back to my attention, and it not really to do with this, but it was saying in your post they should either educate, entertain, or empower. To really make sure that we're honing in on quality posts, because you might find also that your traction this time of year is a little bit lower than normal as well. At least I have been. So go ahead, Kelly.
Sorry, I have one other thing. I don't know if you guys have read I want to say it's from GoPro. I've been watching some of his YouTube videos again. And he always says to say, if I would you. And I've been doing that lately, and I feel like it's been going better too. So you say, like, you know, if people object, he says that if it always comes down to 2 different things, a self-limiting belief and then, like, they don't believe in themselves, or if it's a coach opportunity, they don't believe in the opportunity. And to say to something like, hey, I'm waiting till the New Year's, you could say, if I could show you how to eat well and still enjoy the holidays and find a balance, would you be willing to give this a shot? So I don't know. That's something that I've been trying to use too.
I really like that. I don't remember that, and I read GoPro a long time ago. If I would you, I like that approach. Another good approach that I forgot to mention with objections is the feel, felt, found approach. And you might have heard this before, but you know, if somebody is saying, you know, I feel like something like the 21-day fix isn't going to work for me because I'm not used to clean eating, or I don't know how, or whatever it is. You can say, I know how you feel. I felt that way too, and this is what I found. And I use that approach a lot when discussing Shakeology because it is very true. A lot of people say, like, I have no energy. I don't like protein shakes. I don't like how they taste. You know, whatever that objection is. And for me, I can say, I know how you feel because I felt that way too, because I honestly didn't like protein shakes and I was pretty skeptical about Shakeology. And what I found is, you know, that there's a million recipes and it is absolutely something that I enjoy every single day. And it's given me more energy so that I don't have to survive on coffee. It has helped curb my cravings. And, you know, I can name off a laundry list of the things that it's done for me. But if you can make it relatable back to you and share part of your story, you might find that it's a lot more real to people versus if you're just saying, well, Shakeology is really awesome and you should buy it, because I really like it and I think you will too. Because that doesn't really, it doesn't really speak to what it's done for you. So I hope that's helpful. If I think of any more ways to combat objections, I will be sharing them in the team page. But and if you guys have any specific situations that you're dealing with, please post about them, because if you're dealing with them, there's probably 5 other people on the team that are dealing with them as well. And if you find something that works for you, please share that as well, because we're all working together to help each other out. And let's just commit right now. Make a commitment to yourself and write it down on a piece of paper where you want to be at the end of this month. Success Club wise, you know, whatever your goal is, but definitely your Success Club goal. And just set that in stone and make it non-negotiable for yourself, because no matter where I am at any point in time in the month, I always know what my non-negotiable goal is. And I know that if I am striving to reach that, I absolutely always hit it. And if I just kind of think I'm going to wing it and hope that it happens, it's not going to happen. You have to put that set in stone that you are going to help 3 people this month, or you're going to help 5 people this month. Because if you have that set in stone and you have that clear in your mind and you believe that you are going to be able to find those people to help, you are going to do the work to make that happen. Because if you're anything like me, you don't like to set goals and miss them. And also, if you don't set them, you really have nothing to work towards. So put it down and decide how many people you want to strive to help this month. And go out there and make it happen. And just know that this time of year, don't feel defeated if you're getting a ton of no's or no answers, because you are not alone in that. All of us are dealing with that right now. And I promise that there is people out there that need help no matter what time of year it is. There's always people that are ready for change. So thanks for getting on, guys. Have a good night. Say bye.
Bye.